and you're welcome to MLT Channels. This is Engineer Oladipo, your host and your amiable online tutor. Today's subject is chemistry, and the topic of discussion is atomic structure and bonding. You are welcome on board. Without wasting more time, let's quickly dive into details. And today's learning goal is actually chemical bonding. So we have the question of the day, and the source of the question is UTME 2019. The question reads, element PQRS have 6, 11, 15, 17 electrons respectively. Therefore, option A, P will form an electrovalent bond with R. Option B, Q will form a covalent bond with S. Option C, R will form an electrovalent bond with S. Option D, Q will form an electrovalent bond with S, while option E is Q will form a covalent bond with R. In order to simplify this problem, we need to identify what P, Q, R, and S are respectively. And to do that, we've been given a clue in the question that P, Q, R, and S have electrons 6, 11, 15, and 17 respectively. So let's start from the first one, which is P. So the number of electrons that P has is actually 6. So the next question we ask ourselves is that which element has 6 electrons and has carbon? How do I know that? Just count your first 20 elements. Your first 20 elements, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon. So carbon is number 6. That means the atomic number of carbon is 6. Then if atomic number of carbon is 6, atomic number is the number of proton, which is also the number of electron in an electrically neutral atom. That means element that has 6 electrons is actually carbon. And here is the atom of carbon. We have the atom of carbon here. You can see this atom. It has 2 electrons in its K shell, and it has 4 electrons in its L shell. Then it has 6 electrons in total. So this is carbon, which is element P. So let's identify that. So we already know what P is. P is carbon. So on to the next element, which is Q. Then according to the question, Q has 11 electrons. Then which element has 11 electrons? That's sodium. In our first 20 elements, sodium is number 11. That means the atomic number of sodium is 11. If the atomic number is 11, sodium is 11, that implies that sodium will have 6. It will have 11 electrons. And let's check here. This atom of sodium in the K shell, it has 2 electrons. In the L shell, it has 8 electrons, making 10. Then in the M shell, it has just only 1 electron, making 11. So here is this element Q is sodium. So here is the atom of element Q. Okay, that's awesome. Now we need to get R. Which element is R? According to the question, R has 15 electrons. So continue counting your first 20 elements. Element with atomic number of 15 is actually phosphorus. So phosphorus has 15 electrons. So, and there is the atom of phosphorus. In the K shell, it has 2. In the L shell, it has 8. If you count, that's 10. Then in the M shell now, it has 5. So that implies that element R is phosphorus. Then the last but not the least element is actually S. Then how many electrons are there in element S? Let's verify. According to the question, that is 17 electrons. Then continue counting your first 20 elements. The element that has atomic number of 17 is actually chlorine. So that implies that element S is actually chlorine. Okay, now that we have identified what element P, Q, R, and S is, our problem is almost half solved. We have already established that element Q is carbon, and rather element P rather is carbon, element Q is sodium, element R is phosphorus, while element S is chlorine. Now the next thing is, what kind of bond will form when these elements are combining? Okay, let's take for instance option A, element P is combining with element R. Will it form electrovalent? Option B, Q is combining with S. Will it form covalent? Okay, so in all the options we have electrovalent and covalent bond. So we need to establish what is electrovalent bond and what is covalent bond. When we say electrovalent bond, or also known as ionic bond, we are talking about bond that involved metals, combination of metals and non-metal. This has to be a transfer of electron from the metallic element to the non-metallic element. So we already understand how electrovalent bond forms. So we need to establish covalent bond too. How do covalent bond form? Covalent bond involves sharing of electron between non-metals. So that is when non-metal is combining with non-metals. That's how covalent bond is formed. Okay, we are almost there. Now the next thing we need to understand is which of these elements P, Q, R, and S are metals and which ones are non-metals. Because the moment we could identify the one that are metals and non-metal, it will make it easier for us to know the kind of bond that is formed. Okay, so how do we now know if an element is a metal or is a non-metal? Very, very easy. We just use our knowledge of periodic table. In the periodic table, we have 8 groups in the periodic table. And out of these 8 groups, the first 3 groups are metals. The first 3 groups, group 1 to 3, they are metals. They are metals. Why group 4? That is a special group. Group 4 is a special group in the sense that group 4 is metalloid. Metalloid, that means they can behave both as metal and as non-metal. So metalloid, let's just represent that by MTL, metalloid. Why group 5 to group 8, these ones are non-metals. So let's represent that with N. So now, fast forward. We now have the first element, which is P. How do we now know if P is a metal or P is a non-metal? To know is very, very simple. The valence electron determines the group that an element belongs to. What I mean by the valence electron is the number of electrons that an element has in its atomos shell. Let's take P as a case study. P, it has 2 shells. In the K shell, it has 2 electrons, and the L shell, it has 4 electrons. So because it has 4 electrons, that means it's going to bring 4. Definitely, element P is a metalloid. Don't forget, we have said we represent metalloid by MTL, metalloid. Okay, now let's identify element Q. How many electrons do element Q have in its atomos shell? Well, element Q has 3 shells. In the K shell, it has 2 electrons. In the L shell, it has 8 electrons. And the M shell, it has only 1. So because it has only 1, definitely is in group 1. And we have already established that elements in group 1 to 3 are metals. So definitely element Q will be metals, and we are representing metals with letter M. Okay, that's awesome. So going forward now to element R. How many shells do element R have? Element R have 3 shells, K shell, L shell, and M shell. And the M shell, how many electrons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So element R has 5 electrons in its atomos shell, in its atomos shell. That means the valence electron is 5. And we have established that all element that has we have established that the number of electrons determine the group and an element belongs to. Now these are 5 electrons. That means going to belong to group 5. And we have established that elements from group 5 to 8 are non-metal. So this R is non-metal, which is represented by letter N. Okay, we are almost there. And element S. How many shells do S have? S have, it has K, it has L, and it has M. Definitely M is the atomos shell. Then how many electrons are present in the atomos shell? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So M has 7 valence electrons. 7 electrons in the atomos shell. Definitely, MS who belongs to group 7. And we've established that elements from group 5 to group 8 are non-metal. Definitely S is also a non-metal. So good. So we've been able to identify which ones are metals and which ones are non-metal. Don't forget, P is metalloid, Q is metal, R is non-metal, and S is non-metal. So now let's now go to the option. Option A. P will form an electrovalent bond with R. Is that correct? Let's check. P is a metalloid, R is a non-metal. And for covalent bond, it has to be with non-metal and non-metal. Definitely, option A cannot be correct. Now let's go to option B. Option B, Q will form a covalent bond with S. Okay, let's check. Element Q is a metal, while element S is a non-metal. And covalent is non-metal combining with non-metal. So this metal against non-metal. So option B cannot also be correct. So going forward, option C, R will form an electrovalent bond with S. Okay, let's check. R is actually a non-metal and is combining with S, which is also a non-metal. So that bond cannot be electrovalent, that will be covalent. Non-metal against non-metal. So option C also is incorrect. Then option D, element Q will form an electrovalent bond with S. Q, metal, combining with S, which is non-metal. And we have established that when metal combine with non-metal, the bond that is formed is electrovalent. Definitely, option D is correct option, because Q will definitely form an electrovalent bond with S because Q is metal and S is non-metal. Okay, let's check the final option, which is option E. Q will form a covalent bond with R. Q is metal, while N is non-metal. So definitely that is incorrect because covalent has to do with non-metal and non-metal. So the correct answer in this question is actually option B. Okay, let's test that. Let's check that. So we have that question. This is School NGR. Is a very good software that is strongly recommended for candidates that are sitting for external exams like WAEC, NECO, UTME, and post-UTME. And the question reads, okay, element PQRS have 6, 11, 15, and 17 electrons. But therefore, it's the same question. Now we said option D is the correct answer. So let's pick option D. Now, can you see that's green? And let's check. And that's actually the correct answer. All right. That's all. 12 minutes just gone down like 12 seconds. It's been very exciting, very interesting, and entertaining, and highly educative. So at MLT channel, we specialize in tuition for candidates preparing for external exams like WAEC, NECO, UTME, post-UTME, GCSE, IGCSE, SAT, and GRE. Distance is not a barrier. Our coverage reach everywhere, no matter where you are, either you are in Europe, you are in America, you are in Asia or Africa. You can join our online class at a token amount and actually register with us and prepare for your external exams. You can use all our social media handles. We have them here. You can watch more of our videos on our YouTube channel, which is at MLT Tutors channel. Then you can also watch our videos on TikTok at MLT Tutors. You can join us on Facebook, and our handle is mlt.tutors. You can reach out to me via my telephone line. My WhatsApp line is 080-670-76871. Or you can send mail to us at mlttutors@gmail.com. Also, we have our physical classes ongoing at Omega Building, opposite Gasland Nigeria Limited, Obafemi Awolowo Way, Malete, Ibadan. All right, I really enjoy myself and I really love the class. If you enjoy this, don't hesitate to join us in our next video. Then if you have gained one or two things, assist us by liking and sharing this video. Until I come your way again, I remain my humble self, Engineer Oladipo, your host and your amiable online tutor. Bye for now and take good care of yourself.